Right, hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. Right, we are back again with another Alliance War video. This time it is ASR, Assassins Reloaded against Agent Graphite. Now this is 11th Warrior season. We are looking quite comfortably about in the second position, where we are likely to finish. Unfortunately, we're not likely gonna make it back to the first. But, you know, coming in second overall would be still great. We still need to get there. There's still one more war left after this. And, yeah, AGT Graphite is obviously also very good Masters level Alliance. In this war, as we can see, I have brought in Dr. Doom, Human Torch, and Quake. And all of them get a reasonable amount of fights. I do have some good things about this war, and I do have some less so nice things. So in section 1 and 2, I am going to be on path 1. It's kind of like back to my regular, most commonly used up path, I suppose. And yeah, so first fight here is going to be Dragon Man. Now, Dragon Man is not the easiest defender to face there, but I'm not that kind of like afraid to do it either, because I have done so multiple times in past. I have a choice whether I want to use Human Torch or whether I want to use Dr. Doom. More often than not, I do choose to go in that fight with Dr. Doom. As you can see that I'm putting a big boy 30% boost, which is kind of annoying. I'm actually out of 30% boost. That's the biggest problem right now, is because the more recent Kabam offers have been quite garbage, so I haven't been buying them. Or that One Division offer set was horrible. So yeah, I'm not really getting my boost from that. So hopefully the Stripes early access bundles come around quite soon. But either way, so back in here after boosting. The key about this Arc Overlord Vigorous Assault node, for me personally, that I have found, is just to find that opening to strike opponent's block for, well, until the first set of regen expires. And after that, it's quite easy. I will make a mistake in this fight. This war, actually, I will end up making a couple of mistakes that are quite silly. Definitely not playing my A game at the moment. I don't know. Last couple of wars I have been feeling just a bit off. Here you can see that I actually ate that level 2 from Dragon Man. Luckily it's 5-star, and luckily I'm boosted. And yeah, that definitely kind of like woke me up a bit, because I had some tricky fights incoming later, and you guys are gonna see another silly mistake that I will make. But even though I ate that level 2, those instruments aren't really dealing all that much damage, and yeah, I'm just plowing forward, not really taking that much of my health away. And as you can see, the Dragon Man's melting, so did make a mistake, but it's not all that bad. So long as you don't get cornered against Dragon Man, he really doesn't hit that hard, and you don't have too much to worry. Right, next up is Maulman, and I have fought Maulman on this node before as well. And quite honestly, it was much easier with Dr. Doom than I thought it would be, and I was quite stressed the last time I was gonna go in there. But with Dr. Doom, since Maulman is shock immune, you're not triggering masochism at all on your basic combos, which is kind of like one of the main things. And the entire game plan here is pretty much just hold up, block, bait out heavy attacks, and punish them. And then do your own Doom cycle as and when you can. And since, yeah, he's shock immune, and you're not parrying, not triggering masochism, Doom is an absolute hunk of a champion with insane amounts of armor. So he can take a lot of hits and block, and as you can see, that I'm still at 94%, he's at 56%. And I'm just casually chilling there in my green, menacingly looking orb, not doing much, just baiting out those heavy attacks. Here I'm going to bait out another one so I can land in a combo before I drop that level 3. Absolutely wonderful, no problem, nothing to worry about. Can drop a level 3, 12% special damage, special attack damage, or whichever, well, 12% more damage. Gonna drop my level 3, and that Maulman as well is just a 5-star. I have a feeling that after Maulman buff, we're gonna start seeing more and more rank 3 Maulmans on defense, especially if that buff is any good. And yeah, that was the fight. Now, next up, I'm gonna go against this Corvus. Now, teammate there was actually trying to give me energy. It just so happened that we both moved at exactly the same time, so I had to wait till he backs out. and it's Corvus with Power Focus 1, and it does have that strike counter node, but with Corvus it's actually very easy to get that special attack. I will make a mistake again in this war. Oh man, this is a bit messy war, but yeah, I will end up making a mistake, but it's all good. So the base idea is I have X amount of hits allocated to me, 5 light hits, 4 medium hits, and 2 heavy attacks. If any of those counts reaches 0, he's starting to gain Furies, and I don't want that. It's not end of the world, obviously. Not a single Fury buff on the opponent has ever killed anyone unless they actually hit you. But still, don't feel quite comfortable. And here he is at 21%. I just take it all in block. Again, all of these war fights better safe than sorry. Okay, actually this fight went quite well. I must have misremembered. Thought I'm gonna get a couple claps from that Corvus, but I didn't, so fair enough. Still, the point applies. All war fights should be, especially if you're playing competitive, not about trying to make it pretty, not about doing everything perfect, trying to make everything as foolproof, as safe as possible, trying to have as little possible chance to get yourself KO'd. And that obviously extends everything else. Use your boosts, check out your great matchups, have a game plan ready, and just play safe. Right, this fight is a bit tricky though. So it is a Domino. It's a rank 3 6-star Domino. I'm using Quake. There is Power Snack on this node, but we can see that due to the way that I timed Concussion, I was actually able to put precision buff from Dexterity on me without triggering Power Snack, which was one of the key aspects here, because I do not want that Domino to gain any power. Now this node also has Backup Recovery, which Quake effectively would nullify, but the Backup Recovery has like a special failsafe in it. If you do nullify that power gain or the first part of that ability, then the opponent just starts healing up, which is exactly what's going to happen here, thus making this fight even longer. And using a 5-star against rank 3 6-star on fairly stacked node where they gain significant amount of health back, it's not tricky per se, but it's an endurance test. And sometimes, especially since I haven't been using Quake all that much recently, it does start to feel on your fingers. Because Quake is one of those champions that I personally at least can't play for extended amount of periods non-stop. If I use Quake flat out for 4 minutes, I need to take a couple minutes break just to rest my fingers. And I will kind of start to feel a little bit amount of fatigue in my fingers, and that will show towards the end of the fight. I'll make a couple of mistakes. You can see that up until this point I have only taken one little kick in the gut, and I'm at 93%, and everything's going fantastico, right? But at the same time, nearly 2 minutes have already expired here in this fight, and she's at 31%, so everything is well, everything's safe. But the finish of this fight is going to be a little bit dodgy, and I'm very thankful that I was actually boosted quite heavily, and this fight was the main reason why I was boosting hard. Because this fight is always a bit scary, because Domino does Domino things. And here we can see that even now, she's at 15%, 93, but here she tags me with 2 crits immediately. I got 59%, and it's not looking pretty anymore. It's not looking pretty anymore. She survives this set of aftershocks, even though it's 7%, and I let go of my heavy attack. At this point, Power Snack kicks in, and she got past the bar of power, so that got really dodgy. If she had like a split second of time where she could have thrown that level 1, and I possibly would be in a large amount of trouble. Right, that was it for section 1. In section 2, I do have 2 fights on my path and that Hyperion. And then I'm gonna have some more mini-boss. So this actually is a quite, well, eventful war. Not the craziest war that I have ever had, but, 8 fights, decent. Right, so I'm gonna put on boost, but I don't have any 30% boost anymore, so. And this is my last 20% boost. So I really hope for some decently good offers. Or I hope that I'm able to grind till about 3,000 units. So I can purchase that Cavalier bundle next month, because I think it has 30% boost, which would be perfect. But yeah, so it means that I kind of have to work quite hard to grind up, what, 1600 units minimum till the start of next event quest. I'm sure it can be done, depending how much time I get and depending how much time I will have to spend in work, but I'll try to do that. It's either early access bundles or that Cavalier bundle, or perhaps both, because I do like to use those boosts sometimes for videos and stuff like that. Either way, back on path 1. Now, this is the Vigor path, I believe it's called, and it's Human Torch, and it's Quake, and it's again relatively simple, straightforward fight, not much to worry about. Human Torch is not a stubborn defender, so I can dex to my heart's extent, just like I could against that Domino. You can see that first 40 seconds he's like 45% health. Now, there will be one small hiccup in this fight where the Vigor will trigger. That Vigor timer will kind of happen to go off at a time when I didn't have concussion on. So you can see that that heal was quite hefty. It did give him back quite a lot of health, but Quake quickly snaps it back, and we just need to carry on. Also, this is a 5-star Human Torch, and that kind of showed the fight was quicker than I thought it would be, and it's nice to face off a 5-star with 5-star for a change when you're using Quake, because typically all your opponents are like 6-star rank 3s these days, especially towards like the more competitive wars, and this was very, very close war. At the time I was doing my fights here, we were actually tied. Now, as an alliance, ASR definitely didn't have the best war. We had some very silly mistakes, and I hope we can pick our game up, because we made this war way, way more stressful than it had any right to be. We'll let you guys know about the final results towards the end. I don't remember if I took a screenshot, but either way, here we go. Quake against Hulkbuster. Now this fight, he has Lionheart and Buffet. And again, in this fight, the trick is not to trigger the Buffet. You can do the same thing as I did in that Power Snack Domino fight, because Power Snack effectively is just alternate version of Buffet node, where instead of health, opponents gain power by nullifying your buffs. So the same thing could have been done here. I could have timed my concussion where I can sneak in that dex while concussion's active, and Buffet wouldn't nullify it, and I would spend the rest of the fight with a buff on without any problems. But Hulkbuster is a stubborn defender, and that would mean I still don't want to dex fully throughout the fight. So I just went with the idea of never triggering a single buff on me, just leave that Buffet completely irrelevant, made it very simple, basic, parry, heavy style fight, and we can see that Hulkbuster goes down without a hitch. Not a problem at all whatsoever. Right. Now we have Hyperion, and this is gonna be a stupid fight. This is not going to be a great fight at all. He has a link, which is like enhanced armor, but don't care. That's Dr. Doom, nullify, and do all that other good stuff. But it's Hyperion, and Hyperion is pretty much a dream matchup. It's kind of like Doom's favorite snack. Doom eats Hyperions for breakfast every morning with orange juice, and we know that. And for some reason here I went for 2 heavy attacks with 2 staggers, and that already kind of slowly started to suppress my power. Now at this point you can see me dropping a level 2 without having stagger active, so obviously Hyperion gets his power gain buff. So I'm going to try and nullify now, but I didn't. And so at this point Hyperion still passed 2 bars power, and I pushed myself too far. I meant to go for level 1, I didn't, I dropped level 2, which lets Hyperion get 3 bars of power. But again, I wasn't like worried at all. Hyperion's first level 3 really doesn't hit that hard, plus I'm using Doom, so I have the class advantage, plus it's Doom, so he's super tanky. But I might possibly be the first player on YouTube to upload eating Hyperion's level 3 using Doom. Anyways, definitely a very, very bad fight. Still, hashtag doesn't matter. Hashtag still winning. Right, so we won it, 8 level 3, but we still won it. I don't need to use Doom for anything else, so I really don't care. I moved up towards the center. I knew that I have one more fight left in the war, and the last fight is that Sasquatch mini-boss there on the right side. somebody, a teammate of mine, very graciously placed a pre-fight ability of White Magneto, and that's probably one of the most important nodes where you really want to have that White Magneto's pre-fight ability, because there's Limber on that node, and if you use White Magneto pre-fight, then that Limber doesn't matter because the stun is passive and you can parry to your heart's extent, and you're gonna have significantly easier fight. That's Sasquatch. Sasquatch can still be a tricky opponent. I'm bringing in Human Torch, rank 3. I do have pre-fight ability to activate, and for all intents and purposes, kind of like the theme again with Agent Graphite. And I kind of feel bad about saying it, but there's definitely way more 5-star champions on defense than we're used to, and it shows. It really shows when you're using a 6-star rank 3 against 5-star in Alliance War. It's so different, and I also kind of feel that's one of these things that's holding a lot of alliances back, because there are definitely, without a doubt, many talented players in a lot of alliances that are about Platinum 1 Masters level, but the main things that are holding a lot of people back at the moment, I feel, is the defense. Because if I have to fight 565s all the time on defense, and they have to deal with rank 3 6-stars, huge burden to undertake, and the huge kind of like odds to overcome and actually win those wars. So hey, my hat's off to those guys, but definitely I kind of feel that ASR's defense and roster won this war much more than, let's say, me or my teammates, for instance. Because again, we didn't have a great war, and should the defense be equal, suspect this would have been an L for us. Right, now I could have taken the final boss. Well, I wasn't assigned, but I could have tried to steal it, but there was the idea that, well, I hadn't really practiced the fight. I know that Human Torch absolutely melts Magnetos, but I really haven't practiced using him, and I let my teammate handle it. Now, at the end of the war, we did take the win. It was definitely not a very great war for our Lions, but there's only one war left in the season, and on top of that, I'm still deathless for the season, which is kind of cool. So I have went 11-0 this season. Our Alliance Upstairs are actually keeping track of fights and stuff like that, and I'm actually having, I think, the most fights on paths and mini bosses. If I can find it at the end of the season, might include it in the last video, but it's quite interesting. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you did, then obviously, please do hit that like button. Sub to the channel would be absolutely magnificent. And that is it, and I'll catch you guys soon. See ya. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information